Hello, this is cjhoyle. Today is Sunday, November the 28th, 2021. And as you can see, we've got a bunch of white stuff on the ground here in Toronto. So in this video, I'm going to be giving a narrated tour of a bike ride that I'm going to do around the Annex neighborhood here in Toronto. And this is, of course, our first snowfall that's really noticeable this year. We have had a couple of days earlier in the season where we've had, a couple of snowflakes in the air where you can see them, but this is the first time it's actually created a blanket. So we're going to go out and see what it looks like around this neighborhood here. So we started from the intersection of Walmer Rd and Bloor Street, and we're heading in the north direction. And a lot of the apartment buildings that are built along this road here, Walmer, were built back in the 1960s, and many of them were designed by the same architect, a man by the name of Uno Pre. It's got a stop sign here. Straight ahead there's a park which is called Gwendolyn McEwen Park, or maybe it's a parkette. It's quite a small park. And it's just sort of this unusually shaped park that's sort of in the middle of right in the middle of the street. It kind of forms like a roundabout almost. Another stop sign here. I guess roundabouts don't have stop signs, so it's not quite as good as a roundabout. But I love seeing all these trees with all the snowflakes sitting inside of them. You only get that under certain circumstances, when the snow is nice and fluffy, like it is right now, and when there's no wind, because of course they're just sitting up there very lightly. It would fall off pretty easily. So we're just at Kendall Avenue now. Walmer Road is a road that has many interruptions along the way. But this is one of my favorite streets in Toronto. It's got a lot of nice old giant houses, and they're all unique and different. And so the route that I'm planning on doing here is just sort of a zigzagging route through this portion of the Annex neighborhood. But for now we're heading in the north direction, but at the next stop sign up ahead, which is Bernard Avenue, we're going to take a left turn. You might think it would be easy to just come here and just ride around on streets and just sort of make up the route as I go, but there are actually quite a few one-way streets in the Annex, which makes the navigation a little bit more challenging. You kind of have to know, what route you're going to take before you start to take it. All right, so straight ahead there's a park called Sebelius Square, and I'm actually going to be taking a left turn here, and we're going to be going on to another road. I'm going to be turning right up ahead onto Brunswick Avenue. We're actually going to be coming right back and through Sebelius Square in a moment. That Gwendolyn McEwen Park that we rode past earlier is named after a Toronto poet who I believe spent some time living here in the Annex neighborhood. I know that she also has a plaque over on Ward's Island on the Toronto Islands. So I know that she lived over there at some point too, but I think this mostly was her home base here in the Annex. And then Sebelius Square, for a while I thought he must have been from this area, but he's a Hungarian composer who never had any connection with Toronto. They just named it after him, I guess because of the Hungarian population that lived in this area at the time. All right, so we're just about at Dupont Street here, which is sort of the northern end of the Annex. I'm just going to make a right turn onto here, and we'll just go for one block on Dupont, and then we'll head back into the neighborhood streets. The next road we're going to be going onto is called Kendall Avenue. I'll make a right turn up here onto it. They always say about the first day of snow like this in a given year, the number of car collisions is significantly higher than any other day of the year. And I think that's attributed to the fact that in the 9 or 10 months since there was snow on the ground the last time, drivers seem to have forgotten how to drive under these conditions. So they're not used to, the stopping distances are reduced and things like that. So it's really not the best day to be out on the roads. That's one of the reasons why I decided to do this ride through a residential area as opposed to on a major street like I often would on, Yonge Street, Bloor Street, some street like that. Just got a stop sign here and we're back to Jean Sebelius Square over on our right. So I'm going to make a turn. I'm actually going to ride through the park here to figure that. It's kind of nice riding through underneath of all these trees. This pathway here does not receive winter maintenance, so in the winter it's often covered with snow. Over there on the right you can see a snowman next to that big concrete wall that some local children presumably have made. That area of the park over there actually gets transformed into a natural ice surface skating rink here in the winter, although it's only open, tends to only be open a couple of days a year because, our climate here in Toronto is kind of unpredictable and it kind of goes up and down. The temperature kind of fluctuates and goes up and down a fair bit, so you might get cold for, cold weather for a week period, but it's not uncommon for after that you'll have a couple of days where it goes above freezing and your skating rink would get destroyed. This street we're on is called Wells Road or Wells Avenue. Wells Street. Alright. So we'll continue and we're going to go up another street up ahead and then we're going to sort of do a loop up to Dupont again and come back, and we're actually going back down that street that we just crossed there, which is called Howland. And I actually have filmed a video that included riding through this neighborhood. It was the video that I filmed earlier this year celebrating 30,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And I actually surpassed the milestone just a couple of days ago of 35,000. So that video was shot 5,000 subscribers ago. The street that we're riding on now is called Albany. And we're heading north once again, back up towards Dupont. The temperature right now is just a little bit below freezing, like maybe -1, -2 degrees Celsius. It's really not a cold day at all. I'm sure this would be a great day if you were a young kid to go out in your yard or in a park and make a snowman like we saw earlier. It requires certain conditions for that to be possible. The snow needs to be sort of a wet snow, which as a kid you call that packing snow. And later in the season, when things are colder and it snows, you don't typically get those conditions and the snow doesn't stick together, so you can't easily make a snowman. Stop sign here, and we're going to turn right onto Dupont for one short block, and then we're going to come down Howland. Actually, let me just wipe off the camera because I can see that quite a bit of snow has accumulated. I apologize for that. That's one of the downsides of filming a video when it's actually snowing. Once the snow is down on the ground, you don't have to worry about that so much, but when it's actually flying through the air, it does tend to hit the lens of the camera. Alright, so we're turning right now onto Howland Avenue. And we're heading in the south direction now. Over here on the right is an old fire station. Fire station number 23 is what it says on the brick. Built in 1910, although the newer sign says fire station 344. And this is one of those one-way streets. Albany was also a one-way street. I'm riding pretty slow. I guess I'm just sort of taking it easy because of things might be a little bit slippery. There's really no chance that there's going to be ice though, because like I said, it's really not very cold right now. I do actually have studded tires on this bike, so slipping on the ice is not my biggest concern. The bike that I'm riding right now is the one that I call my green machine, which long-time subscribers of cjhoyle are familiar with the green machine because it used to be my sort of daily driver bike for a long time and was also the subject of a lot of bike maintenance tutorials. So sometimes I'll get comments on my newer videos when I'm riding my recumbent bike and people say, hey, where's the green machine? Well, I'm riding it today. I ride the recumbents most of the time, like most of the year, but I don't like to get salt on them, and the city puts lots of road salt on the roads here. And on a day like today, you'd get home and your bike would just be caked in all kinds of brown snow and salt and stuff. So I sort of designated this bike as my winter bike. I'm going to make a left turn here onto Barton Avenue for one short block, and then we're going to turn right up ahead onto Brunswick Avenue again. And that building that you can see straight ahead is a building that's now used for condominium lofts, but it actually was once the Loretto Day School, or the Loretto Abbey Day School, which was a Catholic school for girls. You can see the building is known as the Loretto. And Brunswick Avenue is a two-way street, at least through the portion of it north of Bloor. And this is Lowther that we're just stopping at, that's over on the left. And this road goes in the south direction, and we're heading down towards the intersection of Brunswick and Bloor. This portion of Brunswick Avenue received a contraflow bike lane back in the summer of 2020. It was installed as part of a project which included a couple of other streets, and that project's actually not completed quite yet. There's still one more piece that's remaining, but once it is completed, I do plan on coming here and making a video showing it from end to end. So yeah, it's a nice day to be out for a ride. Nice to see things looking so pretty like this with all the white on top of everything else. I hope you enjoyed joining me on this narrated tour. If you watched all the way to the end of this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And thanks for watching.